Let's move on now. France is witnessing a political gridlock once again, days after a vote of confidence against Michel Barnier ousted him from power. It remains unclear who will be the next prime minister and which parties will come together to form the government. But as days pass, pressure is mounting on President Emmanuel Macron. Earlier in the day, Macron called for an all-party meeting to discuss forming a new government. Speaking to the media after the meeting, the Green Party head said that the political solution no longer rests with the far right and that different political forces need to come together.
Alors, on vient avec une crainte.
Let me remind you that he put a clear question to the French on June 9th. Do you want an alternance, yes or no? That's what the solution is about. The majority of the French people said yes. If his solution is to appoint a prime minister from his camp to carry on the same policy, the same as it has been for the past 7 years, that's a form of intransigence, a clear obstruction to change. We have seen where that approach has taken us.
Qu'il ne soit pas juste la continuité de sa politique.
Macron also invited other party leaders to hold consultations to name a new prime minister and defuse France's political crisis. Parties that are not a part of the far left or far right alliance were also in attendance.
Bonjour à tous.
All right, our correspondent Ross Cullen is now joining us live from Paris. Ross, good to see you. What's happening in Paris right now? Have they reached some sort of consultations? Have they spoke? Or what is the political scenario in France right now?
Well, the search is continuing. No prime minister has yet been named by Emmanuel Macron, who is pressing on with his search for somebody to replace Michel Barnier, the prime minister who's still in post, but only as a caretaker after he was ousted in that dramatic no-confidence vote in Parliament last week. He and all other ministers are remaining in their posts just in caretaker roles until this new government is appointed, which has not happened yet. However, Emmanuel Macron has been meeting over the last few days the heads of different political parties in France, because he did say in his televised address last week that he hoped the next government would be representative of all political forces in France. And so he has met the centrist leaders, he has met the right, he has also spoken to the Socialist Party, and today it was the turn of the Green Party and the Communist Party to turn up at the Élysée Palace for one-on-one talks with the French president, because constitutionally it is he, Emmanuel Macron, who will decide to appoint the next prime minister. He does want to achieve that with somebody who can command a wide majority in the National Assembly, which will be very hard to do because the parliament is so bitterly divided into separate party political blocs. However, the Green Party leader, Marine Tondelier, did say that she believes there is a possibility for Emmanuel Macron to achieve what he wanted to, which is this new government representing different political parties. She say that is possible without the far right, but the far right do have the greatest number of MPs in the National Assembly. So it's a very tricky situation. There's always pressure on Emmanuel Macron to try to speed up the process. His own MPs want him to appoint a Prime Minister sooner rather than later. But I remind you, his position is safe for now. He was elected separately. There is some calls for him to resign, but they're from the extremes at the moment. And on the left particularly, the far right have said they're not immediately calling for him to stand down. They do, though, blame him for what they describe as the political chaos in France. Definitely, as you mentioned in the introduction, it's gridlock in Parliament at the moment. There is the pressure always to try to get the budget for next year approved. That's continuing in the background, but the main search is for this new Prime Minister to replace Michel Barnier.
All right. The deadlock persists in France. Ross Cullen, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.